Dune Awakening have come out with a community signal today going over new things and changes to the game. It's been a few months since the release and things are starting to simmer down whilst other people play other games, which is totally natural, but because of that they have started merging servers. It's in testing at the moment, but soon it will be ready in the next few weeks, and then you'll be able to move your character with all your progress, inventory and anything stored in your bank and your backup tools with your vehicles inside. You'll be able to move to a different world and siege of your choice, which is really good. This means if things have gotten seriously quiet on your server, you will be able to move onto a more populated one. They are also introducing something called a base backup tool, which sounds insane. It lets you store your entire base with nearly all of its content as an item in your character's inventory. What? Whether you're preparing to relocate or take a break, this tool ensures that your hard work can either move to your new home or be safely stored until you return later to discover new game content. This is amazing. I have never seen a game do this before. Not to this level anyway. I don't even know how you fit all of that data in there and just print it back out like nothing happened. And it's going to be absolutely game changing when it comes to making a deep desert base, because it will mean it's not as painful to bring all the resources over. Instead, you can just back it up into a tool, place it in the DD and carry on with your day and have fun, instead of spending hours, remaking your base and putting down things and hauling over resources. I think this is a wonderful change. I really like the idea of a base backup tool. The next update, by the way, is planned for Q1 of 2026, so you might see it in January, February, March. That kind of time is when to expect the update. They want to make a better endgame experience, improve the DD, make the lands rad fun. One of the biggest things they're working on is specializations. So if we come to this image here, here's what they mean by specializations. You can see they've changed the skill tab completely. It looks insane. The overhaul of the UI looks really nice. And what could this mean? So you're going to notice on here, and one of the first things I noticed is the different levels of each of these skills. You can see level like 799 on this one, and it's called exploration. You get a certain amount of exploration XP level, and then it'll tell you whatever keystones are, stats gained, buffs gained, and yield gained. Now at first when I looked to the side and saw the little images, I was like, oh yeah, this is planetologist, this is like swordmaster, this is trooper. No, it's a little different actually. Although you can briefly see in them they unlock different things, and that seems to be weapons included in here. It's almost like a battle pass, but without having to purchase anything for that. By the looks of it, it will be using spice as the currency, so I imagine you have to just farm up a load of spice melange to be able to improve this and make it better and like make yourself stronger. They still do have an abilities tab down the bottom, so I wonder what that will be about, and a specializations tab up the top. They don't really explain what it's all about, and this is an example of a work in progress, so it might not be like exactly like this by when we receive it. But I do like the idea of making the skills tab more interactive, and not everybody's going to be the same, and there's different things you can get and level up and all that good stuff. It will also give a lot of value to spice melange and things like that if you're using spice to like improve these and make these better. It will give you a use for the spice other than making crafting stations, which will be super nice. If you fancy checking out any of the new stuff, they did actually push an update to the public testing client, which you can get for free. You'll be able to play around with the base backup tool and the carrier ornithopter, being able to travel between maps carrying a vehicle. You'll be able to test all of that and listen to the new stuff in the radio station. So if you want to help them with bug reports or anything like that, you can join the public testing client now. They do still have Twitch drops running for a little while longer. It ends November 19th, so if you haven't got these brand new pieces, make sure you grab them now. In case you're unaware as well, they will be transitioning the DD back to how it used to be when it came out. This is going to be a slow change as they implement the brand new Landsrad system, and they will pull back the deep desert to what it used to be, a giant sandbox where you PvP everywhere and fight people. They'll also be adding no-fly zones, and you'll be able to do some ground combat down in the DD, which sounds really spicy. So by the sounds of it, it'll be getting a facelift, so everybody's going to really enjoy it, and they'll be focusing that on the PvP side of things. I do think with how the DD is currently, they try to appeal to too many different player types. PvP versus PvE, and they don't really combine very well because they both do very different things. PvE players don't want to get into battles and fight and get stomped on by people who like PvP, and PvP people want to combat each other and fight and find anybody they can, have a battle with them and have fun. So trying to appease to both of them just doesn't really work because it's the opposite. So I hope with this change, PvP people will be able to fully enjoy the DD and do as it was intended, you know, play around with it, have combat, and hopefully they will give PvE people something to do because their end game is basically non-existent, basically. So it was marketed to both, so I do think they do need something there for them so they can enjoy the end game as well in a different way. How they are going to do that, I don't know, but I guess we will wait and see. If you like the merch side of things, I do have an art book if you'd like to have that. As always, I'll leave a link in the description down below to these newsletters so you can check them out and click on the links if you fancy it. They did increase the Dune Man building set and add a lot more pieces to it. If you want to see that on a video without having to log into game or anything, you can see it here. I'll put it in the top right cards if you want to check it out. I did a video going all over the new parts. And at the end, they have a really nice community section, which I really like. I do love the fact they have a community newsletter and it includes some community creations in there too. I think that's super blessed. You got some really nice screenshots here and some really beautiful different pieces of Dune artwork. Like this one looks insane. I love the look of this. This person's so creative, and then different. Oh wow, this is just beautiful. I love the colors on this one and different artworks. Oh, people are so talented. So talented. We even have some cosplay in there. That's really cute, and some different screenshots. Ah, that's awesome. On the end of this newsletter, they did have a Q&A, so we'll briefly go over that. In regards to the base backup tool, what does it mean when we say nearly all of the base's contents can be stored? The answer is the base backup tool will store everything in your base, including self-view consoles, decorations, storage containers, as well as blood purifiers, water systems and all of their contents, and crafting benches. However, anything not placed directly in or on your base will not be stored, such as lights or storage containers placed on a natural rock. And the same goes for vehicles, so you want to disassemble them and put them in a storage box or in the bank. Which makes sense because I assume anything that's kind of linked and snapped together is going to take with it, but if you leave something, let's say you have like a big gap in the sand and there's just like a storage box on the sand, that's not going to come with it because it's not attached. Question: can we pocket a base and move it to the deep desert and then back to Hagar Basin? Answer: bases can only be backed up in the Hagar Basin and then only rebuilt in the map where they were backed up in. Meaning you will be able to pocket a DD base, but you'll only be able to use it if you've built it in the DD, if you understand me. I know why they've done this. This is because things cost cheaper in the DD, so if you were to make your main base in the deep desert, it would cost half the resources. Then if you could move that back to Hagar Basin, you see where the problem is. So I totally understand why this is a thing, but it does still mean you can have your DD base and print it out. It just means you'll have to suck it back up when you don't need it and then plop it back out when you do need it, which is much better than how it is currently. That's my understanding of it anyway, and I do hope that that's right, because it's a massive pain point for me in the DD not being able to do that. Honestly, I hate rebuilding my base every week. It is a pain in the bum. Question: will we be able to back up 2 bases or only 1? Answer: you can store 1 base per backup tool you craft, so you could store all of your bases. It just means you need multiple backup tools. Question: will Funcom provide a list of servers that will be merged well ahead of time? Answer: while we can't divulge much information on server merges right now, we will be releasing communication ahead of time that details more of what you can expect. Question: will the character transfer allow you to transfer from an official server to a private one? Answer: unfortunately, as of time, you won't be able to transfer characters between an official server and a private one. If news on this changes, we will keep you informed. But anyway, that is the newsletter for today. I hope you found it informative on what's going on in the Dune space. I look very much forward to next year's update and whatever we're gonna get in Dune. I'm hoping it's a big chunky one we can come back to and fully enjoy. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and smash that subscribe button if you want more Dune Awakening news, and especially if you want some Enshrouded news, because we're going to be covering that very soon. Either way, thank you for watching, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!